এটা রেকর্ড হবে না, ওটা আসবে কোনো অসুবিধা হলো। Good afternoon, welcome to VANIK-IAS and we will discuss current affair of 25 May. With reference to Pongongso Lake, consider the following statements. It is a freshwater lake, or then only 1/3 of the lake lies in Indian territory. Pongongso Lake also supports vegetation in deeper parts of the lake. So this is wrong. That first, which of the following statements are correct? This is not a freshwater lake. It is a brackish water lake. It's a saltwater lake. So it is the highest saltwater lake. So first statement is wrong, right? Then only 1/3 of the lake lies in Indian territory. Yes, this is right. 2/3 lies with China. 2/3 of the territory that lies with China, right? Pongongso Lake. And Pongongso also support vegetation in deeper parts of the lake. No, there is no vegetation due to extreme temperature. Due to extreme temperature in that region, there is no vegetation found in Pongongso Lake, right? Extreme temperature means extremely cold temperature. That's why no vegetation. This Pongongso Lake do not support any vegetation. So only answer is the right answer. It is not a freshwater lake. It's a saltwater lake, and it is do not support any vegetation. And 2/3 lies with China, and 1/3 lies with India, right? Okay. With reference to the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, consider the following statements. It is a multilateral initiative. Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, IPEF. It is a multilateral initiative of the members of ASEAN. No, this is not the member of ASEAN. This is by the members of Quad, right? Quad group, that is Australia, United States, Japan, and India, right? So these are the 5 countries, these are the 4 countries among which this this is proposed by Quad, that is Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, right? Indo-Pacific Economic Framework is proposed by Quad. It includes market access commitments. See, there is no such commitments as of now. It is just proposed. So this statement cannot be right. So both the statements are wrong here. This is proposed by United States in the Quad summit. Recently the Quad summit happened. Quad is formed to ensure maritime security in Indo-Pacific region due to aggressiveness of China, right? Recently also in Solomon Islands, China has developed it and signed an agreement with Solomon Islands, that is just the Australia, and that also that means China is also getting clout strategically. So for us, your Indo-Pacific region is concerned. That's why India is aligning with USA is aligning with India and Australia to ensure free and fair maritime route in Indo-Pacific. That's why Quad formed, and Quad is an informal group, and on the basis of Quad they want to expand Quad on economic basis. So that is that is the IEF. Okay, consider the following statements. Switzerland is the topmost FDI investor in India. No, Switzerland is a very small country. It is not FDI, it is Singapore. Singapore is the topmost FDI investor in India. After Singapore, this is Mauritius, right? Mauritius we get maximum from Mauritius. Then your US. US is the third. US is second. US is second rank. Singapore is first, and Mauritius is third. So far as FDI investing is concerned, so first statement is wrong. Then Maharashtra receives highest FDI equity flows. No, it is Delhi. Delhi receives around 30% of the FDI. Delhi received around 30% of the FDI that totally that comes to India. Second is Maharashtra. So this is wrong, right? Currently 100% FDI insurance sector is allowed under the automatic route. No, so your answer is nothing is correct. So none of this is the answer. Next. With reference to SOA, yes, this is SOA Rigu. It is one of the oldest surviving well-documented medical traditions of the world, with a history of more than 2005 years. It is practiced in Ladakh and Himachal regions. This is little bit, just wait, the question is little bit eliminated. SOA Rigpa. Yes, SOA Rigpa. SOA Rigpa. Rigpa. It is a ancient method of healing method, right? It is a healing method. Healing method linked to your like your Ayurveda, like Ayurveda. It's a healing method. Oldest and well documented medical traditions of the world with a history of, so yes, yeah, this is right. Well documented and medical tradition that is of healing, SOA Rigpa, and it is only in Ladakh and Himachal Pradesh. No, this is not wherever only that question is answer is right. There is also other northeastern states and West Bengal. This SOA Rigpa is found. SOA Rigpa is one type of traditional healing method. It's linked to Ayurveda. So only one answer is the right. History of more than 2500 years. Science of healing, SOA Rigpa. Okay. Recently in the Caucasus Mountains is found between Black Sea and Caspian Sea. It is the link between Europe and Asia. Remember, it is link between Europe and Asia. And Asia, it is seen just below your Russia, between Black Sea and Caspian Sea, Caucasus Mountains. These Caucasus Mountains are seen between Black Sea and Mountain Sea. Black Sea is just below the Russia, Ukraine, between Georgia, right? And it links to Caspian Sea. So C is the answer. Caucasus Mountain. New arrangement to borrow. It is related to which of the following organization? It is related to International Monetary Fund. New arrangement to borrow. By this new arrangement to borrow, what the IMF is doing? It is taking it is taking loan from member countries to grant loan to other member countries, right? So this new arrangement to borrow, this is especially taking loan from other member countries and providing to providing a particular member country. That is new arrangement to borrow. That is International Monetary Fund. A is the answer. Then in the context of D10 countries, which of the following statements is below? It is correct. D10, it is proposed by, it is a USA proposed grouping to foster free trade with Asian countries, and it is a group with 3 democratic countries along with G7. Yes, along with G7 there is South Korea, right? There is South Korea, there is India, there is Australia, right? These are the 3 countries. So this is right. It aims to surpass China. Australia, India and Japan are the 3 democracies. This is not. It is not. Japan are the countries part of its outside G7. So 4 option is wrong. So if 4 is wrong, only there is 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. It is USA proposed. No, it is proposed by UK. It is proposed by UK. So your 2 and 3 is option is right answer. Actually, it wants to surpass China so far the supply of 5G technologies is concerned. The communication technology, it basically do not want to depend on the 5G technology of China. That's why this D10 countries is proposed by United Kingdom. It is also proposed by United Kingdom was pressurizing USA to propose this D10 countries, and it is aims to surpass the China in the supply of 5G technologies. Sorry. Okay. E-Sagu, it is often seen in the news related to E-Sagu. It is related to web-based personalized agro advisory system regarding the farming, to providing advices to the farmers, agro advisor system, e-waste, to providing real time advisory to farmers. It is a web based personalized agro advisory system, e-sagu. The Poverty and Shared Prosperity Report is released. Poverty and Shared Prosperity, this is released by World Bank. World Bank, it is a bank of 5 banks, right? It is a bank of 5 banks. It is released by, that are your IBRD. It is a fast bank that is established, and there is International Financial IFC, there is IDA, there is MIGA, right? And there is International Center of Settlements of Industrial Disputes, ICSIDS. Remember, India is not a member of ICSIDS, that is International Center of Settlement of Industrial Disputes. Sorry. Okay, these are the 5 banks under World Bank, and it releases the Poverty and Shared Prosperity, right? International Finance Corporation, International Developmental Association, this Multilateral Investment Guarantee Multilateral Investment Guarantee Association. So this is MIGA and ICSIDS. They are the 5 countries under World Bank. Okay. Next we will discuss some prelim facts. Central Advisory Board on Archaeology. Central Advisory Board on Archaeology. Recently, government constituted Central Advisory Board on Archaeology, CABA, for over 7 years since its last meeting. Government reconstituted Central Advisory Board on Archaeology over 7 years. After 7 years, it meant to strengthen the contacts between Archaeological Survey of India and those in the field of archaeological research. The purpose is to strengthen the contact between Archaeological Survey of India and those who are working in archaeological research. That's why Central Advisory Board on Archaeology is created. ASI is constituted in the board of with Culture Minister as chairperson, and including the officials from Ministry of Culture, ASI, MPs, nominee of state government, representatives of universities, scientists, experts on Indus Valley script among members. So this board is reconstituted with Culture Minister as the chairperson and the members from various states. It is revised for a period of 3 years. The board will meet once a year, and its functions would include advising the center on matters relating to archaeology referred by its member. So job will be advising matter related to archaeology. It also makes suggestions on matters for the consideration of the government. It is set up a standing committee on the board to be chaired by ASI Director General, right? So this is related to Central Advisory Board on Archaeology. The most important point is that the objective of this is to strengthen the contact between Archaeological Survey of India and those people who are engaged in research so far as archaeology is concerned, and it is revised for a period of 3 years. And the role is to advise central government so far as archaeology department is concerned. Then Project VANIK. What is Project VANIK? Project VANIK, recently Army Training Command signed Memorandum of Understanding with Gandhinagar based Rashtriya Raksha University RRU to develop War Game Research and Development Center. War Game Research and Development Center, that is Project VANIK, that is signed by Army Training Command and Gandhinagar Rashtriya Raksha University RRU. They both signed. That is War Game Research Development Center, that is VANIK in New Delhi. What is this VANIK? It will be the first its kind of simulation based training center. Simulation based training center means that will be represented in computer, that will use artificial intelligence to design virtual reality war games, right? See, this is very complex, right? That using virtual reality in simulation, that means if a war situation is created, how you will fight in that war situation by applying your skills, by applying virtual reality. That is, the project is about VARDECT, that is War Game Research and Development Center. It will be used by the army to train its soldiers and test their strategies through the metaverse enabled gameplay. This is a gameplay, metaverse enabled gameplay. This is a game by which the person will use his skills and mind to fight against the enemies. In the metaverse, the players will get a realistic experience of the actual situation. They will get a realistic experience of the actual situation because there is application of virtual reality. The war game models will be designed to prepare for wars as well as counter terror and counter insurgency operations. The center will come up in a military zone in New Delhi. The center will come up in military zone in New Delhi. So this is VARDEC. It is one type of game that will experience, that will utilize virtual reality and artificial intelligence. And the job is to create such a situation, war-like situation, and the soldiers, they have to imagine it, they will experience in real time, and they will think and apply their skills how to kill the enemy. That is Project VARDEC. The RRU will join hand with Tech Mahindra to develop the center in coming 3 to 4 months, official added. It will join hands with Tech Mahindra. It is associated with Tech Mahindra to develop the center in the coming 3 to 4 months. The RRU, an institute under Ministry of Home Affairs, specializes in national security and policing. Institute under Ministry of Home Affairs, MHA, specializes in national security and policing. It is located in Gandhinagar's Lavard village. It is an institute of national importance. Institute of national importance. Remember, Institute of national importance under Ministry of Home Affairs, specialized in national security. It is status granted by an Act of Parliament, right? So it is present in Gandhinagar. RRU is present in Gandhinagar. Apart from this, armed forces, BSF, CRPF, SISF, ITBP, HSB can also the use of metaverse enabled simulation exercises for better training. Metaverse enabled simulation, right? The technology is that is simulation means the game, the strategy, or the that will computerize war situation will be created, right? That is simulation. Significance: use of artificial intelligence can provide totally immersive training experience as it can simulate a battlefield close to the reality and map several eventualities in the probable event of a war. So this will create a situation like war, so they can apply their real intelligence at that. How many countries use such wargaming skills? Since 9/11 attacks, use of information technology enabled wargaming is preferred by several countries like US, Israel, UK to prepare the possibilities in case of terror war. So all the countries like US, Israel and UK, they prepare for the possibilities in case of terror attacks or war, right? New Development Bank. The BRICS-led New Development Bank announced a set up regional office in Gift City, India. Regional office will be set up by New Development Bank that was created by BRICS countries, right? Okay, it is a multilateral development bank operated by BRICS, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. These are BRICS nations. Establishment agreed by BRICS leaders in 5th summit, that is Fallujah Summit in 5th summit held in Durban and South Africa 2013. It was established in 2014 at the 6th summit, that is Fallujah in Brazil. So New Development Bank, it's established according to Fallujah Summit. Remember this Fallujah Summit, Brazil in 2014. It was established with an initial authorized capital of $100 billion. Yes, $100 billion was initially placed. Headquartered at Shanghai, China. Aim and objectives: to foster greater financial and development cooperation among the 5 emerging markets, to mobilize resources for infrastructure and sustainable development projects in BRICS and other emerging economies and developing countries, to mobilize resources for infrastructure and sustainable development projects in BRICS and other emerging economies in developing countries. Right? Voting. Unlike Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank (AIIB), voting power is based on number of one subscribed share in the capital stock of the bank. The share of BRICS countries can never be below 50% of the total votes. Voting power is based on the number of one subscribed share in the capital stock in the bank, and the share of the BRICS countries can never be below 55% of the total votes. So as much you have share according to you have the votes, but not like unlike that the same procedure is not in IMF or not in AIIB, right? Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Currently, each of the 5 NDB members have equal voting rights, that is of 20%. All the members have equal voting right, right? All the 5 countries have equal voting right, that is 20% in case of New Development Bank. In 2018, NDB received observer status in United Nations General Assembly. MDB received observer status in United Nations General Assembly, establishing a firm basis for the fruitful cooperation with United Nations. Observer status. How is NDB different from AIBB? AIBB has 57 countries, predominantly Asia and Pacific region, whereas NDB has 5 big countries, only 5 big countries. The decision making in NDB is more democratic. Each member has 1 vote. Decisions are taken by simple voting method, and everybody has 20% of share. Each member has 20% of share, that is equal share, right? And whereas voting shares in AIIB are based on the size of each member's country's economy, GDP in PP terms, and not on the basis of contribution to the bank's authorized capital. Right? So China and India, Russia are the 3 largest shareholders. They are based on the size of each member country's economy, GDP and PP terms, and not on the basis of contribution. So each members have equal voting rights. China and the largest contributors, shareholders are China, India, and Russia. That is the difference between New Development Bank and Asian Development Bank. So we'll discuss the main topic. Guidelines for the safety assessment of genome edited plants 2022. Genome edited plant. Recently, Department of Biotechnology issued guidelines easing the norms for research into genetically modified crops and circumventing challenges of using foreign genes to challenge the crop's profile. See, just a second. Okay. So Department of Biotechnology has issued guidelines to using norms for research into genetically modified crops. Why genetically modified crops are necessary? At present time, there is almost droughts have increased by 29% since last 20 years. So because of climate change, and there is erratic rainfall, and in case of India, hardly half of our land are rain fed. So they are extremely dependent on rain. Rainfall pattern has been changing because of climate change. In such a situation, we can take only the help of genetically modified crops which can survive in the extreme conditions of temperature and rainfall, right? And also they are resistant to pests. They are also highly productive. For example, BT cotton. BT cotton is much more productive as compared to other cotton, traditional cottons. That's why 95% of the farmers have shifted to BT cotton. Right. So GM crops are important to ensure food security, to increase the productivity, to give farmer more income, and also to reduce the inflation of food crops, and to provide sufficient demand, and to meet the demand of the society so far as food is concerned. Okay. The guidelines for safety assessment and genome edited plants 2020 exempt researchers who use gene editing technology to modify the genome of the plant from seeking approvals from the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. Those researchers who use gene editing technology to modify genome of the plant seeking approvals from the Genetic Appraisal Committee is not necessary. They are exempted, right? The guidelines provide a roadmap for the sustainable use of genome editing. Genome editing, that is one of the CRISPR technology we have studied. By that, the crops will be produced and applicable to public and private sector partner research institutions engaged in research and development and handling genome edited plants. The guideline aligns with the harmonizing India's regulatory framework on genome editing with the mega food producing countries like Latin America, North America, Africa, and Asian countries. So those countries, they have adopted a policy regarding exempting those researchers who are edited the genome of to produce GM crops, and they do not require any such approval from the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. Remember this GEAC, it is the organization that allows a country to provide it allows a particular GM product in a particular country. So those who are according to the new guidelines, this exempt the researchers who are using gene editing technology. Okay, some countries like Latin America, North America, Africa, and Asian countries who are mega food producing countries, they have exempted them. So it is an international practice. It is a good practice. That's why we have followed it. Environment Ministry notification. It has exempted certain types of genome edited crops from stringent biosafety regulations application applicable to genetically modified crops. It has also eliminated certain types of genome edited crops from stringent biosafety regulations, right, applicable to GM crops. So it has liberalized so far as GM crop and research is concerned. Only those crops whose genome is edited, right? Genome is edited by researchers by genome editing method. Okay, the ministry has exempted site-directed nuclease (SDN) 1 and 2 genomes from Rule 7 and 11 of the Environmental Protection Act to avoid a long process of approval of GM crops. At present, there is long process of approval of GM crops. Why there is long process of approval of GM crops? Because they are studying the long-term impact of a particular genome. They are studying, scientists are researching the long-term impact of BT brinjal, right? Probably there is chances of cancer. That's why there is a long-term study of BT brinjal and long-term study of DMH mustard. That's why there is delay. By this exempt there will not be delay. Significance: those guidelines are expected to bring transformational change in the product development and commercialization and would contribute towards increasing the farmers' income. That will expected to bring transformational change in the product development, right? So that will increase the productivity, that will help the farmers, and that will bring a dramatic development so far as the production of GM crop is concerned. It will accelerate the agriculture and food goods trade of such products. Those products who are GM products, that will accelerate the agriculture, and right, that will create more business for the farmers and the traders. Okay. Concerns raised by environmentalist groups. Environmentalist groups have opposed this exception from gene edited crops, right? Environmentalists has opposed. Why? Because they say that there may be any long-term implications of that. Gene editing is included in genetic engineering. Therefore, there is no question of giving exemptions. Particular kind of gene edited plants are from regular purview, right? If you are giving exemptions, then there is also a risk that may hamper the human health. Gene editing techniques involve altering the function of genes and can cause large and unintended consequences. That may have severe consequences, which cannot that can change the toxicity and energy density in the plants, right? The toxicity of plants may change, and that can bring a large or significant change in the in the species. They have been demanded that the exemption be withdrawn. So environmentalists have been opposing it because nobody know the exact impact of such gene edited GM crops. They may create severity regarding toxicity and allergenicity, and we don't know the exact impact or consequences of such GM crops who are edited by gene editing procedure. Okay. What are genetically modified crops? Conventional plant breeding involves crossing species of the same genus to provide offspring with the desired two traits of both parents. The GM plants that have usually come for such scrutiny are those that involve transgenic technology or introducing a gene from different species into a plant. Insert Bt cotton. These are plant breeding involves crossing species of same genus. Crossing species of same genus. What will by offspring desired? Yes, the offspring with desired traits, right? That is the best quality. When there the pollination happens, especially in case of GM crops, the best quality of two crops that come to the new species, right? The GM plants have usually come for such scrutiny that involves transgenic technology, introducing gene from different species into plant. Bt cotton, where a gene from soil bacterium is used to protect plant from pest attack, right? So there is, in case of Bt cotton, that is pest resistance. Bt cotton is pest resistant. There is high productivity. They are genetically modified crops. GM crops allowed in India. Only Bt cotton is allowed in India. Only Bt cotton, the only crop that is allowed in India. Bt cotton. Remember, the only GM crop that is allowed in India has two alien genes from the soil bacterium, that is Bacillus thuringiensis, that allows crop to develop protein toxic to the common pest pink bollworm, right? That creates a toxic protein toxic that is toxic, that is develop a protein that is toxic to the common pest pink bollworm. That's why the GM crops are pest resistant. On the other hand, Bt cotton derived with the insertion of additional gene from another soil bacterium, which allows plant to resist common herbicide glyphosate. So Bt cotton derived from insertion of additional gene and another soil bacterium, which allows plant to resist the common herbicides, so that especially the herbicides and pesticides they resist them, right? So that's why productivity increases. Bt brinjal, in case of Bt brinjal, gene allows plant to resist attacks from fruit and shoot borer in case of Bt brinjal. Okay, but the scientists are expecting that there are chances of cancer and other consequences, and they have not studied the detail of Bt brinjal. That's why they have not allowed it. Then DMH mustard. What is this DMH mustard? DMH mustard developed by Deepak Pental and colleagues in South Campus in University of Delhi. Genetically modified allows cross pollination in a crop that self pollinates in nature. So this genetic modification allows cross pollination in a crop that self pollinates in nature. That is DMH mustard. It is also a Bt variant. This is not allowed. Across the world, GM variants maize, canola, soybean are two available. Advantages: it can rapidly increase the population, it can feed the rapidly increased population, and because it shows dramatically increase in the yields. So that is of high productivity, high yield varieties, high yield GM crops. It can produce more in small areas. That means high productivity, right? More efficiency. Improve the production, reduce the farmer income. Yes, that in case of production, reduce farmer income. Then it reduces the use of pesticides and insecticides during farming. That might be great moves for the betterment of the food supply, right? It reduces the pesticides and insecticides, reduces the use of pesticides and insecticides, high productivity in low areas, right? Huge amount of production, and high legal position of genetically modified crops in India. In India, GES, Genetically Engineering Appraisal Committee, is the apex body that allows the commercial release of GM crops. Genetically Engineering Appraisal Committee, GESC, it allows the commercial release of genetically modified crops. The GESC has allowed the commercial release of Bt cotton. It has allowed Bt cotton, but it has not allowed Bt brinjal or DMH mustard, that is GESC. More than 95% of country's cotton area is now coming under viticulture. Yes. Now all the traditional cotton is getting got away from nature. Now viticulture has introduced. Use of the approved GM variant that can attract a jail term of 5 years. Use of unapproved GM variant. If somebody is using unapproved GM variant, that can attract a jail term 5 years or fine up to 1 lakh under the Environmental Protection Act 1989. Nobody is allowed to cultivate those GM variants which are not given approval by GESC. Why? That may endanger the life of somebody else. Right? That's why there is strict provision has been done with respect to that. Why are the farmers rooting for all GM crops? First thing is why farmers are going for GM crops. First is reduced cost of production. In case of BT cotton also, in case of cotton, farmers cite high cost of the weeding, high cost in the weeding, which goes down considerably by the grow BT cotton using glyphosate against weeds. Brinjal growers in Haryana have rooted BT brinjal as it reduces the cost of production by cutting down the use of pesticides. As there is no pesticide to use to pest, that is pest resistant. That's why Haryana have said that BT control in BT brinjal, their income is more. Currently being used illegally, unauthorized crops are being widely used. Haryana has reported farmers growing BT brinjal in pockets which has accused major agitation there, which has caused a major agitation there. BT brinjal in pockets, right? In June last year, government moved Shetkari Sangathan in Akola district, Maharashtra. More than 1,500 defied the government and sought the HT BT cotton. So some farmers are cultivating the BT cotton in Haryana. Issues. Concerns related to GM crops. Health hazards. Several studies of BT crops show that there has been many potential health hazards. The long-term imports has nobody knows the long-term impact of anything. Remember, so this nobody knows the health hazard of this BT cotton. Skin eruptions of the body, swollen faces have reported correlated with levels of exposure to BT cotton. So if somebody has more exposure to BT cotton, then there is some health hazards as well. The decline in fertility. The farmers from various parts of the country have reported decline in their soil fertility after growing BT cotton. Many groups have also studied the decline of fertility and milk yield of the cattle due to cotton seed cattle field. Right? There is decline of productivity after growing BT cotton. Inadequate safety assessment. The current safety assessment are inadequate. Yes, they are not researched in the long term to catch the most of the harmful effects of GM crops. Moreover, the regular regime of India about GM crops have never been assessed by thoroughly about GM risk assessment in Indian condition. So, the research has been not done properly so far as GM crop is concerned. Even that is BT cotton, there is some reported harmful effects. Then pesticide resistance. Apprehensions has been expressed by the target pest would grow resistant. There may be pest resistance may develop among the, but toxin with time would not enough studies on soil ecology have been done to understand the impact of BT cotton. So what are the impacts of BT cotton that are not studied in deeply, but that is why it should not be implemented. Pricing policy. The pricing policy has also been questioned. Cost recovery would be much higher for BT seeds due to research and marketing involved. So as BT cotton involves research and marketing, its price will be more. So whether that will be cost effective or not, that is also a question mark. Patent and litigation. Moreover, patent infringement is a big concern for agribusinesses. Litigation on the part of the company about pricing and the use of GM crops is not new. So there are also legal challenges regarding the release of BT cotton. What need to be done? GM fruits have potential to solve many of world's hunger and malnutrition. It has the potential to solve the problem of hunger and malnutrition, right? Because in India more than 50% of women are suffering from 55% of women are suffering from anemia, children are malnourished. So this can solve the problem of malnutrition and anemia, and also other issues regarding food security or inflation, right? Then it could help the protecting and preserving the environment by increasing the yield and reducing the reliance on chemical pesticides. So as chemical pesticide will not be used, then this is environment friendly and this will be good for the environment. At the same time, challenges need to be addressed regarding governments, especially in the areas of safety testing. That is, how much it is safety for use, right? How it is safe for the soil also, that need to be studied. Industrial policy and food labeling. Identified overexploited and water stressed areas fall in the states of Gujarat, Haryana, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh. So there is also illegal cultivation. All these things need to be addressed regarding illegal cultivation and other areas. So this is regarding BT cotton. To what extent? Yes. The main question: to what extent Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana led to LPG adoption in India, leading to a shift towards clean fuel? LPG adoption. It's talking about LPG adoption. That is Ujjwala scheme, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. The Ujjwala Day is celebrated in 1st May. And what is this Ujjwala Yojana and how it is leading the shift towards clean fuel? The sustained rise of price of LPG cylinders has been burning hole in many household budget more than years now. The price of LPG refills has risen more than 50% to over 900 rupees per cylinder in November 2021 compared to 600 in the past year. Right. With no refill subsidies in place since May 2020, there is genuine concern about many households now slipping back to using polluting solid fuels like cooking. So people are again getting shifted to polluting solid fuels like cooking, firewood and dong cakes, right? So government need to focus this, because earlier it has given them LPG cylinders, but now government as the price of cylinders has risen, that's why people are unable to buy those things. So what are the features of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana? And this is especially it is given to BPL women, right? And Ujjwala 1.0 under Ujjwala 1.0 target was provided LPG connection to 50 million women. 50 million women from the low ability poverty line households by March 2020. However, in August 2018, women from 7 other categories were brought under the purview of the scheme. In the first phase of PMEY, 8 crore poor families from the Dalit and tribal communities were given the free cooking gas commission. Right, poor families from Dalits and tribal communities and BPL, they are given free cooking gas connections in to 8 crore poor families. In that is PMEY 1. The LPG infrastructure has expanded manifold in the country. In the last 6 years, more than 11,000 new LPG distribution centers have been opened across the country. Right. More than 11,000 new LPG distribution centers. So the use of LPG increasing. Ujjwala 2.0. Under Ujjwala 2.0, an additional 10 million LPG connections will be provided to the beneficiaries. And that is almost 1 crore, right? 1 crore more LPG connection will be provided. The government has also fixed a target of providing piped gas to 21 lakh homes in 50 districts. Piped gas to 21 lakh homes in 50 districts. Then performance of Ujjwala. So far over 9 crore connections under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana has been released. 9 crore connections. Over 9 crore connection under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana has been released, and 1 crore is going to happen it, right? Then PMUI beneficiaries have availed 15 crore. They have availed 14.17 crore free refills under the scheme across the country as per the same filed by Union Petroleum Ministry in Lok Sabha. It has availed 14 crore free refills of cylinders. PMUI 2.0 has launched in August 2021 and target 1 crore connections provided within 6 months by January 2022. This was PM 2.0. Per capita consumption of PMUI beneficiaries has increased from 1 refills to 3.66 refills in current financial year. So the 3.66 refills, this is refills are increased, right? The release of 8 crores of LPG connections under the scheme has also helped in increasing the LPG coverage of the country from 60% to 99.8% in April. So in this, from the LPG connections increased from 62% in 2016 to 99.8% in April 2021, so far as LPG cylinders is concerned. So it has increased. So the proportion of LPG connections had increased significantly, but due to the increase of petroleum prices in global area because of the post-pandemic economic recovery and the supply chain gap and Russia-Ukraine war, its price has increased. Government recently has decided to take some structural measures to reduce the prices of LPG connection. The first independent impact assessment of Ujjwala program by IIT Kanpur researchers highlighted benefits in terms of saving lives and reduction in air pollution. Right. So it has various impact regarding air pollution because it is a clean fuel and there is health of women, all are concerned with respect to LPG. The reduction of death for greater penetration of users of LPG as cooking fuel is estimated to have prevented at least 1.5 lakh pollution related premature deaths in 2019 alone. So per year 15 lakh pollution related premature death has been prevented because of the LPG connections. Reduction in pollution, it also avoided at least 8 million tons of emissions in 2019. Per year, around 13% reduction in the air pollution. 13% reduction in the air pollution death is because in every households we have a LPG connection. Then structural impediments in Ujjwala Yojana. An RTA application revealed that last financial 90 lakh beneficiaries, 90 lakh beneficiaries of government flagship welfare scheme Ujjwala Yojana didn't refill their cylinders. And over 1 crore beneficiaries refilled their cylinders only once. The consumers are paying market price for the refills in the loan repayment for stove and fast refill was made. This led to some consumers not going for such refills, right? So the price has increased, the poor class are unable to afford to the LPG cylinders. They have shifted to other modes of cylinders. Okay, around 30% of Indian households continue to rely on biomass. Biomass, for example, your cow dung, right? Cooking fuel, right? Especially cow dung or leaves, they are biomass. They are used around 30% of Indian households. The practice of biomass uses predominantly concentrated in rural areas, especially in rural areas, particularly among states of Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Odisha. In these 5 states and West Bengal, in these 5 states and in rural areas, people they are using biomass instead of LPG. Given the loss of incomes and livelihood during the novel coronavirus pandemic, the ability to households to afford LPG on a regular basis has taken a further hit. Okay, administrative issues, laxity in the identification of beneficiaries. Notice as 9,897 LPG connections were issued against a breached household list. List temporary identification of members, where names of all family members and the beneficiary were blank in socio-economic list. So there is also regarding issues regarding beneficiaries, laxity in identification of beneficiaries. This is one issue. Lack of improved validation check of IOCL software allowed issue of 0.8 lakh connections to beneficiaries aged below 18 years. So there is also mismatch regarding who are the beneficiaries. Issuance of connection to unintended beneficiaries, those who are not intended so especially regarding the identification of beneficiary, there is many wrongs so far as LPG provision of LPG is concerned. So far as providing LPG is concerned. So there are other issues like logistic issues, lack of LPG cylinder bottling plants, right? Lack of LTV cylinder bottling plants near rural areas, last mile connectivity issues, right? Delay of more than 365 days was noticed in installation, right? Safety and behavioral issues. Safety has been another concern about distribution of LPG connection, especially to BPL families. Lack of awareness and safety amenities that may hamper their households, that may hamper the beneficiary households, and that likely to increase the incidents. Cow dung cakes lying around the house all the time, even today that is seen. So what need to be done? Subsidy reinstatement, right? There need to be given subsidy, right? Because the price is too high, they are unable to afford this. They need to be given subsidy. Identify the true beneficiary. Government is also explore the diverse approaches to identify the beneficiaries. So, okay, so this is all about LPG connection. Like this video and share this video and subscribe to VANIK-IAS. Thank you.